Kind of talking about risk exposures, what do you think the biggest risk is that most business owners don't realize? Because you guys are administrating a lot of different claims, right? So you probably get a really interesting perspective.
Yeah, I'll give you two, and I'll start on the high level. I think the biggest risk business owners have is not understanding their existing insurance policies and what they're
Okay.
actually covered for, and knowing, hey, if this type of thing that I'm concerned about, if that happens, am I covered for that? A lot of business owners during COVID-19 found out that they weren't covered for pandemics. They weren't covered for business interruptions
Yeah.
because the government told you to shut down. So understanding your policy and knowing where the gaps are, and then,
Mhm.
knowledge is power. Once you have that, you can figure out, okay, how do I address it? Because my insurance company might not be willing to. How am I going to finance this risk at the end of the
Yeah.
day? Uh, and you talk to someone like Joe who can do a full analysis for you and help you find those. Highly recommend doing that. But to get specific, the cyber breaches continue to
Mm.
be a major risk, and it's only gotten worse. To your point about innovations, AI has made scam emails pretty flawless now. They don't come with the grammar mistakes or the
Yeah.
weird spellings and all of that. They put those through AI, and they look like a legitimate email, and we're seeing a lot of folks that are falling prey to that. We have clients every year that they'll get an invoice from one of their vendors, and then shortly after that, a scammer will follow up with a second invoice saying, "Hey, sorry, we had our old banking instructions on that old invoice I sent you. Go ahead and use these new ones." And the bookkeeper, or whoever, looks at that and says, "Okay, I'll send it to the new bank." And then now you've sent money into a black hole, and
Mm.
a lot of times you're not going to get that back. And so that's the type of risk we can cover under our cyber policy. You can go buy a cyber policy off the shelf, or your general liability policy might have a sublimit for it inside of it.
Yeah.
But oftentimes you're going to see an exclusion for things like employee mistakes, not following proper procedures. So those are the types of exclusions that we're looking to address with what we do at SRA.